and gentlemen, Rahul Gandhi's London strike has sparked off a dangle back home. It was fireworks in Parliament today, just a day after Prime Minister Modi singed Rahul Gandhi for bashing Bharat in Videsh. Today, a battery of NDA ministers slammed the Wayanad Member of Parliament for claiming that democracy is in danger in India and even seeking foreign intervention to get back and restore India's democracy. The Modi Sarkar made it clear that it will not tolerate anti-India raga on Videshi soil. The only demand was Rahul Gandhi maafi mango. Listen in to the war of words.
श्री राहुल गांधी जो इसी सदन के सांसद हैं, राहुल गांधी ने लंदन में जाकर भारत को बदनाम करने की कोशिश की है और कहा है कि भारत में लोकतांत्रिक व्यवस्था पूरी तरह से तहस-नहस हो रही है और विदेशी ताकतों को आकर यहां पर भारत के लोकतंत्र को बचाना चाहिए कि भारत की गरिमा पर, भारत की प्रतिष्ठा पर उन्होंने गहरी चोट पहुंचाने की कोशिश की है। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आपसे यह मांग करता हूं कि पूरे सदन के द्वारा उनके इस व्यवहार को कंडेम किया जाना चाहिए और उनको ये आपके द्वारा निर्देश दिया जाना चाहिए कि संसद के फोरम पर आकर वह क्षमा याचना करें। अध्यक्ष महोदय, मैं आपसे अनुरोध करना चाहता हूं।
इस सदन के एक सदस्य श्रीमान राहुल गांधी विदेश के धरती पे जाके एक तो स्पीकर के ऊपर कास्ट अस्पर्शन ऑफ द स्पीकर चेयर के ऊपर आरोप लगाते हैं। सर, उनका माइक पूरा चालू था सर, शुरू था। जब आपने उनका पूरा मौका दिया, उन्होंने पूरा बोला। मैं इनसे पूछना चाहता हूं, when the fundamental rights are suspended during the emergency, who was in power, sir? डेमोक्रेसी का क्या हो गया था?
From democracy khatre mein hai to minorities targeted, Rahul Gandhi launched a multi-pronged attack on the Modi Sarkar over the past few days ever since he set foot on UK soil. Listen in to Rahul Gandhi's charges against the Modi government.
How would you react if democracy suddenly disappeared in Europe? Right? You'd be shocked and you'd be like, oh my God, that's a massive blow to democracy. Well, how would you react if something, a structure 3.5 times Europe suddenly went non-democratic? Right? That's happened already. That's not something that is going to happen in the future. That's already happened. The so-called defenders of democracy, which are the United States, European countries, seem to just be oblivious that a huge chunk of the democratic model has come undone, right? Which is a real problem.
That an Indian political leader can give a talk in Cambridge University, Harvard University, but he can't give a talk in India, in a university in India. Right? And the reason is that our government simply does not allow any idea of the opposition, any concept of the opposition to be discussed.
The opposition chimed in to back Rahul and even echoed his charges. Leader of opposition in Rajya Sabha and Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge tore into the government and claimed that democracy was being destroyed and there was a dictatorship under Prime Minister Modi. He even cited the Prime Minister's speech in China in Seoul in 2015 to claim that the Prime Minister had insulted India and its people on foreign soil in the past. So why point fingers at Rahul Gandhi now? Kharge was referring to the Prime Minister's 2015 address to the Indian community in Shanghai, in which the Prime Minister claimed that the country's image has changed under his leadership and that citizens were earlier not very happy about representing India. Listen in to the Congress's charge.
डेमोक्रेसी को और संविधान को कोई जगह मोदी जी के राज्य में नहीं है और बीजेपी के राज्य में नहीं है। मोदी साहब, मैं आपको 4 उदाहरण देता हूं, ऐसे तो बहुत है। शंघाई में क्या कहा कि अर्लियर यू फेल्ट ashamed of being born in India. Now you feel proud to represent the country. Indians abroad had all hoped for a change in the government last year. ये किसने कहा? मोदी जी ने कहा। और प्रधानमंत्री ये कहते हैं देश की मर्यादा चले गई। अगर डेमोक्रेसी और कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पे अगर बात करते हैं किसी कॉलेज में, किसी सेमिनार में, तो आप उनको टोकते हैं और हम देशद्रोही बनते हैं।
The way the parliament rules are broke and opposition parties are not given the mic. What honorable speaker told in some other foreign land day before yesterday, he has proved it that we are right again today, because he has not given the mic to the opposition leader, Mr. Adhir Ranjit Chaudhary, who wanted to speak on that issue. For it is a very unfortunate day for Parliament today.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, brings me to the legitimate question on the Newshour tonight. Who's sullying India's democracy on foreign soil?
The Newshour at 9. Debate number 1. On Times Now. Super Prime Time.
And joining the debate tonight, Tehseen Poonawalla, national spokesperson of the BJP, Ishkaran Bhandari, advocate, Lokesh Jinder, leader of the Congress party, Kartik Reddy, spokesperson of the BRS. But my first question goes to Tehseen Poonawalla, Congress supporter, a man who holds the Congress above everything else. Tehseen Poonawalla, I want to ask you tonight, and please tell me if the Congress really wants foreign countries like the UK, like other countries in Europe and the United States to intervene and bring democracy back in India. Isn't that the most shameful statement for an Indian to make abroad, and especially somebody who's taken his oath on the Indian Constitution and represents democracy in the Parliament of India?
Namaskar, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me on the show. I hold India above everything else. India comes first for me. I will not retort to your answer by quoting how the Honorable Prime Minister humiliated my country by saying nobody was proud to be Indian before he became Prime Minister, which I think is Prime Minister very shameful. I will not go into that whataboutery, because what the Prime Minister did, I expect that the Prime Minister will not hold his office to high esteem. We don't expect that of the BJP. But I expect a lot of Rahul Gandhi. So what did Rahul Gandhi say in the very same interview? Mr. Rahul Gandhi, whom I support, said that Indian institutions will take care of themselves. But when he asked the British government to intervene, he said it in context to the raids on BBC, where he said freedom of speech must be sacrosanct. He said it in a different context, which is completely, don't expect the BJP to create something out of context. But two questions to the BJP spokesperson, the very erudite BJP spokesperson. Today, when we say, and the most honorable Prime Minister says rightly so, that India is the mother of all democracies, in the mother of all democracies, the leader of an opposition party made a speech 50 minutes. You expunged 45 minutes of the speech, while the most honorable Prime Minister, who uses Parliament as a rubber stamp, spoke about the leader in the opposition, his father, why his father's surname is XYZ and not ABC. That speech is not expunged. And when you pass bills in Parliament, when the opposition is asking for a division of vote, that is not taking Parliament for granted. And when you topple elected governments, that is not taking democracy for granted and not an attack on democracy. So my request to the BJP...
So because the BBC is raided, because the Congress is asked questions by ED, CBI, so you will go and condemn Indian democracy on foreign soil? Is that the justification?
Was not condemned. Indian democracy was not condemned the way the Honorable Prime Minister condemned India. Indian democracy needs to be strengthened.
My friend Tehseen Poonawalla, when questions are not only raised about the Parliament, the muting of mics and the courts in India, what more is left, Tehseen Poonawalla? Is there anything left really to insult?
First of all, Navika, it's great to have you back on the 9 PM Newshour show, and let me begin by saying परस्पर विरोधे तु वयम पंचशते शतम परायस्तु विग्रह प्राप्ते वयम पंचाधिक शतम। मतलब जब पांडव और कौरव, तहसीन जैसे कौरव लड़ते हैं एक दूसरे के खिलाफ तो 5 बनाम 100 होते हैं, पर जब एक विदेशी खतरा होता है तब पांडव और कौरव भी एक हो जाते हैं और 105 हो जाते हैं। इसी मूल भावना के साथ वाजपेयी जी नरसिम्हा राव के आग्रह पर यूनाइटेड नेशंस जाकर पाकिस्तान के खिलाफ लड़े थे उस मंच पर आज का सांसद ऐसा है राहुल गांधी कि उस ब्रिटेन की भूमि पर आजादी के अमृत महोत्सव के समय पर जाकर कहते हैं कि यूनाइटेड स्टेट्स, यूके, यूरोप शुड इंटरवीन, और उनका स्टेटमेंट मैं प्ले कर सकता हूं, पर आई एम श्योर दे विल बिलीव व्हाट आई एम सेइंग. आई हैव द स्टेटमेंट विथ मी. राहुल गांधी सेज, आई एम शॉक्ड दैट द सो कॉल्ड protectors of democracy are not intervening and they are in oblivion when an entire chunk of democracy has collapsed. This means he is asking for intervention. It's not the first time. Nicholas Burns के साथ इंटरव्यू करते समय he said please intervene Nicholas Burns. अरे मणिशंकर अय्यर तो पाकिस्तान गए थे ना कि आइए और स्वागत है आपका, मोदी को हटाइए, हमें लाइए. So this is attack on national sovereignty of India, and couple of quick points I want to make. First of all, you know Tehseen Poonawalla is a serial liar. This man had come and lied about कि word ban कर दिया, word ban कर दिया. It turned out to be a compilation list of the assemblies had expunged some words. That was the thing. Then you remember they did a fake story. Oh, look, Parliament में अब धरना करना मना है. This was a circular which was going around from 2004 onwards, that this is the Parliamentary House Security Circular that is common for all sessions. But finally I want to ask, if BBC के ऊपर कार्रवाई is the touchstone, Tehseen, when was BBC banned in this country? Please tell me under whose government? Who brought the anti-press freedom bill? Who brought the anti-defamation bill? Who is the one who applied emergency? अरे यहाँ तक तो नाविका कुमार को छोड़ो, किशोर कुमार तक के गाने नहीं आने दिया आपने. और आप आज कह रहे हैं मीडिया फ्रीडम पर. सुप्रीम कोर्ट को कैसे तहस नहस किया. बहरुल इस्लाम वाज अ जज. एक जज था जो कभी जज था, फिर लोकसभा एमपी था. अब इश्करन बैठे, वो बताएंगे जब जजशिप खत्म हो गई तो रिटायर होने के बाद सुप्रीम कोर्ट जज बने और उसके बाद तुरंत उनको लोकसभा चुनाव लड़वा दिया. ये बात करेंगे इलेक्शन कमीशन की. नवीन चावला के बारे में तो पता ही है नाविका जी, आपने तो ट्रैक किया इलेक्शन कमीशन को. गोपाला स्वामी सिटिंग सीईसी राइट्स अ लेटर सेइंग दैट दिस मैन इज अनफिट टू बी एन इलेक्शन कमिश्नर. तहसीन पूनावाला, इंस्टीट्यूशंस की बात आप ना करें. आपके लिए तो परिवार तंत्र ही लोकतंत्र है, जैसे इंडिया वाज ऑलवेज इक्वल टू इंदिरा.
Well, let me ask Mr. Lokesh Jindal. Mr. Lokesh Jindal, the fact is that you or your party, in your urgency of putting and positioning yourself ahead of the 2024 elections, have forgotten the difference between opposition of policies and actually hate for a man. विरोध और घृणा का फर्क आपको खत्म हो चुका है. Because you don't like Modi, you say इनकी कब्र खुतेगी, मर जा मोदी. These are the slogans. And then you start even abusing the country which you represent. That is the question I'm asking. When you actually go on foreign soil and begin to seek intervention to save Indian democracy, I mean, how many people in the United Kingdom would actually be thinking that is this the country that fought for independence in 1947, today asking again for our intervention? आपने सर नहीं झुका दिया पूरे देश का?
Good evening, Navika. I think the term foreign soil has lost its relevance in the present context.
Oh,
now
okay.
Listen.
So you will go to the United Kingdom. You will go to London and ask the British to intervene because foreign soil has no. So unko East India Company ko bhi le आइए. Why don't you ask then United Kingdom to become the so-called ombudsman of the Indian democracy? Is that what the Congress has in mind?
The very platform on which Prime Minister Modi or all our views are being shared, that is Twitter, is a foreign company. Google is foreign. YouTube is foreign. The very content that is aired globally today is a foreign platform. Tell me one thing, what difference does it make if views are being shared via a foreign platform or a foreign contest or some form of an event that is organized?
I don't
Every
know.
information that
so
is shared
Jindal,
today.
you are saying that India में बैठ के भी आप मांग सकते हो United Kingdom और अमेरिका की मदद कि भाई बचा लो हमें, हम डूब रहे हैं.
कहाँ मदद मांगी है?
आपने कहा intervention. The word intervention was used, my friend.
See, there was no. Please, you read the and you see the entire interview carefully, and even the lecture which was delivered by Rahul Gandhi. He clearly stated his views with respect to India. He clearly stated that in India, the democracy is slowly withering away. We are witnessing a fascist dictatorial regime in India.
That's what he clearly articulated. Now, it doesn't make a difference if he is articulating in a foreign soil, physically being present over there, or from his home and sharing that content via some digital platform. What difference does it make? I mean, I'm really disappointed because today in the parliament, BJP could have done better. It has lost all fuel. It has lost all sources to oppose. And a very lame form of an excuse a defense minister has come up with. Doesn't he even know that there are all foreign platforms available where views are being shared? I mean, Adani scam, which was unveiled to India, was from a foreign company. Now, foreign companies are coming. They are research think tanks, which are telling us, okay, your companies are indulging into scams. What your government is doing is told to us via foreign agencies, foreign investigative agencies. How can you say that we are not, there is something that is secret or there is a threat to Indian democracy? This is bizarre. I mean, it stands no substance at all. We are
no
living in a globalized world.
You're seeking intervention and you're saying it, there is no substance in what he said. Let me please read out what Rahul Gandhi's statement actually said, and please be with me, hold your thoughts for a moment. He says, how would you react if democracy suddenly disappeared in Europe? You would be shocked and you'd be like, oh my God, that's a massive blow to democracy. Well, how would you react if something, a structure 3.5 times Europe suddenly went non-democratic? Right? That's happened already. That's not something that is going to happen in the future. That's already happened. But there is no reaction. And you know, if we are talking about Europe, that's the thing that shocks me, that there is no reaction. तो क्या कह रहे हैं कि भाई यूरोप please react, please intervene. Shehzad, respond.
You read the entire statement, and Hindu has published the statement when he had a chat with Nicholas Burns. Rahul Gandhi questions US's silence on happenings in India, and he says that there's a wholesale capture of institutions in India and demands intervention of Nicholas Burns. अच्छा, बाकी सब तो छोड़ो, मणिशंकर अय्यर जाकर गए थे ना पाकिस्तान में, और बाकी वो छोड़िए. देखिए, एक व्यक्ति का विरोध करते करते देश विरोध में इस प्रकार से उतरा है. अभी इनके नेता सुखजिंदर रंधावा ने पता है क्या बोला है राजस्थान में? उन्होंने बोला है कि अगर आपको सत्ता में आना है तो मोदी को खत्म कर दो, मोदी खत्म होगा तब देश बचेगा. मोदी को खत्म करने की बात, ये मोदी को मार दो, प्रधानमंत्री को मार दो. कांग्रेस पार्टी आज इस प्रकार के मानसिक दिवालियेपन पर है कि एक तरफ तो वो ब्रिटेन जहां पर भारतीय मूल का व्यक्ति आज नेतृत्व दे रहा है, और उस समय जब 75 वर्ष आजादी के हम मना रहे हैं, तो जिस देश ने हम पर हुकूमत की उसका इंटरवेंशन आप मांगते हैं. लोकेश जिंदल, कम से कम देखिए, आपके पिताजी के साथ आपका झगड़ा होगा, क्या पड़ोसी को जाकर बोलेंगे? हम अपने बाप की शिकायत पड़ोसी के पास नहीं करते. हमारे देश का मामला है, हम लोकतंत्र का मामला अंदर सुलझा सकते हैं.
लोकेश जिंदल, when you talk about Parliament, you talk about lowering of or blanking out the mics. You know, it has been said by the deputy chairperson of Rajya Sabha, Harshvardhan ji, has also come out and said. He has come out and said that there has never been a practice to do that. Up now, he doesn't belong to any political party, but definitely not to the BJP. And the party that he came from is not a part of the NDA anymore. Are you saying that these things are things that should be complained to the United Kingdom? And when you say that courts in this country are under siege, do you realize what you are saying? Investments in India, jobs in India, all of that will come to a standstill because courts, if you call them, compromise. Do you realize the importance of the statement that is being made and the dangerous trajectory it can take?
Don't you think, Navika, the actions of the government are responsible for this particular response of the opposition party? Right from the farm laws, the manner in which Article 370 was implemented, Citizenship Amendment Act. Worst was, the Prime Minister was silent when the rapists of Shah Bano, they were felicitated openly. Now that made a mockery out of Justice 2022. The entire nation burnt because of communal rights. Shehzad, please do not interject. Brother, I did not intervene when you were speaking.
Overturned her rights. आपके मुंह से सच निकल गया. सिगमंड फ्रॉइड
बिल्किस बानो और शाह बानो का फर्क जिस दिन आपको समझ आ जाएगा, आपको स्टेटमेंट्स ऑन इंडियन सॉइल and statements on England soil, you will understand, Lokesh Jindal. So take a break. take a break, get your thoughts together. Ishkaran Bhandari, you know, in this country, regularly elections are held. Just recently, the Congress won the elections in Himachal Pradesh. Is democracy still dead?
Navika ji, firstly, I have to feel sympathy for Congress spokespeople because logic escapes Jupiter whenever they have to defend Rahul Gandhi, because be it foreign soil or be it Indian soil, you cannot defend what he says. So let us deal with it step by step. Firstly, we know the history of Manish Shankar Iyer going to Pakistan saying, "Inhe hatao, hame leke aao." We also know the history of Rahul Gandhi after he lost his election in Amethi, cannot believe that democracy is fair. Even though the only time democracy was in threat under emergency, the people of India voted out an extremely powerful Prime Minister from her own seat itself. So that is how strong and how grassroots the democracy is in India. But one point, because I find it very amusing, because we are having a full-scale praise for foreign intervention. When does US recognize human rights? When does Europe recognize human rights? When they discover oil and they find the people who are controlling oil are not doing business with them. Otherwise, Saudi Arabia is a democracy. And people who are not doing business with them, they have Arab Spring. That is well documented. So what are they even wanting? But another aspect, because today it is being praised that the rating agencies broke the Adani so-called scam. Silicon Valley Bank, the second biggest failure in US history, happens when Forbes 4 days ago is saying it's the best bank in US 5 years running, with deposits of $206 billion equivalent to roughly HDFC. This is the rating agencies of US. This is the BBC media. This is the New York Times media, where some Kashmiri Times editor writes an article in which her father had earlier said separatism is a factor in Kashmir, and Mr. Fai, a convicted ISI agent, was glorified. So these are the foreign publications, foreign platforms the Congress wants to go. My one-line suggestion for the betterment of democracy is, भैया बाहर वोट मांगने बंद कर दो, भारत के लोगों से वोट मांग लो, शायद अपनी सीट तो जीत जाओगे.
Well, let me get in Mr. Karthik Reddy. Mr. Karthik Reddy, you're smiling, but do you think this is a smiling matter? The question is not about political party lines. The question is about being an Indian and a country called India, which is being insulted abroad. Are we in 2023 in a position to go and tell foreign countries and their rulers that, bhai, we cannot protect our own democracy, come and intervene, please react, you also create a noise? You know, is this really something that any Indian should be doing, least of all somebody who's taken the oath of the Constitution of India?
Hello, Navika ji. I'm sorry that my smile irritated you, but this smile is, this is a smile of helplessness, especially regarding Lokesh Jindal, that he has to defend all that Rahul Gandhi does and does not do. Navika, the BRS party is in a tricky situation. We are behaving like what we expect the Congress party to behave. The meaning I said is, today we attended the joint press conference by the Congress party, led by the Congress party, because not out of what Rahul Gandhi has said, Navika. We have to realize that this country has been under occupation of the Britishers for at least 200 years, and our fight for independence has been very long. And we love our independence, we love our independent movement. And whenever any country tries to push their agenda, or any country tries to involve in our internal affairs, we Indians do not take this lightly. And Rahul Gandhi, who claims to come from a party of the independence movement, somehow fails to understand this, and that's why I'm smiling, Navika. I'm sorry that my smile has irritated you.
Not
but
at all.
The reason I'm smiling...
Not at all. Why should it irritate me? I'm just saying that if you find it a smiling matter, I don't, as an Indian, and I don't know why the BRS... why the BRS attends the same, opposition press meet and does not call out Rahul Gandhi insulting India in foreign land. Why don't you do that? If you're not impressed with Rahul Gandhi, why don't you say that?
We have just said it, ma'am. I just said it, that we are not impressed by what Rahul Gandhi said. We do not endorse what Rahul Gandhi has said abroad. We do not like it that he has called India whatnot in the British Parliament. What he should have said in this soil, in the soil of India itself, he said it outside the country. We do not lower ourselves in front of anybody else, and that's the basic basic thing that our parents thought. But everything said and done, what he has said is not wrong. The agencies are put to misuse. The democracy in this country is going awry. The parliament is not run the way it's supposed to be run. What he said is absolutely right, but he did not say it at the right place. That is the problem. And one more thing I want to tell the Congress party, Narika, there's just one simple thing. I'm trying to understand the mindset of the Congress party leadership and the Congress party itself. Reason, last 15-20 din se, if you notice what's happening in the country, the whole country is talking about the liquor policy of Delhi. Proudly, Congress spokespeople come on television, especially Mr. Pawan Khere ended up in Hyderabad. He said, "Hamare वास्ते हो रहा ये पूरा, हम ही तो complaint दिए थे." On one side, you make a big hue and cry that the agencies are putting to misuse. On the other side, your own spokespeople come out and say, "ये तो हमारे वास्ते और ये तो बाकी के दल पूरे corrupt है." Make your stand, keep it clear. What is that you want to do? Please don't try to be the big boss of our parties. Try to be the big brother if you can. The single largest opposition party that you claim to be, behave like one. Today after all you have called us whatnot, your Pawan Khera called us whatnot, we attend your JPC because we want to be the big brothers. We want to be magnanimous towards you. Please return the courtesy back. We do not want your support.
So basically, an alliance against ED and CBI should be formed. Alliance for India, not important for the moment. Shehzad.
नहीं, देखिए ऐसा है कि रेड्डी जी और कांग्रेस पार्टी का रिश्ता देखकर तो मुझे मेरे और मेरे भाई के रिश्ते की याद आ रही है. तो आई थिंक दिस इज लाइक, बट सी on a more serious note, look, the fact of the matter is that, see, even Mr. Reddy is trying to willy-nilly defend Rahul Gandhi. Mr. Reddy, we are not upset that he goes and says some things about the government or about the institutions. That can also be accepted, but he has demanded foreign direct intervention into the Indian affairs. Can any self-respecting person, this is not the only time, he did it on a day when he said Pulwama is not a terror attack. He said China wants harmony, and at that time you go and say that your country cannot run its own affairs and you need foreign direct intervention. And Congress has always been used to foreign direct intervention. We know that they like all things Videshi. They have had many Videshi leaders as their president, right from Alan Octavian Hume to Wedenberg to some other leaders in the recent past. So we know that they have always liked Videshi leadership in their own party, but does not mean that Videshis will come and run our policy. And this is an assault on 140 crore Indians' wisdom. क्योंकि आप जनता से हारे तो विदेशी ताकत के सहारे. This cannot be accepted by any person, no matter how much you may hate Narendra Modi ji.
I do not endorse it from this country. What he said about the agencies, as you said, no sensible Indian will say that foreign intervention is required in India. No sensible Indian would say that.
So what is Rahul Gandhi in your opinion? Who says this, that there should be foreign intervention? What would you categorize that person? Today, take a stand. If you are truly BRS, if you are truly Bharatiya Rashtriya Samiti and not Britain Rashtriya Samiti, take a stand. What will you categorize Rahul Gandhi as?
No,
Rahul
can
Gandhi
I also
is
ask
the
one
Congress
question?
party's problem and the country's problem. Why should I have an opinion about it?
Answer then.
You don't have an opinion about India. You don't have an opinion about Indian democracy and foreign intervention in it. You don't have an opinion on that. Then what opinion will you have on what,
very
sir?
Clearly, I said we do not endorse the statements of foreign people or foreign countries intervening in our country. I very clearly said it. What is that I have to have an opinion about Rahul Gandhi for?
All right.
Do I need to have a definite opinion about Rahul Gandhi?
Tehseen Poonawalla, the BRS also does not, think that you are doing the right thing. So what is this opposition unity? And you can't use that as a fig leaf, because when you actually defame and defile the institutions of India, what are you doing? Do you realize what you're doing? You are the opposition which screams the most that employment is an issue, price rise is an issue. Look at the world around you. If foreign investors don't come, if you and your leaders start going to call India a banana republic, do you think it's going to solve all the problems India has?
You're right. These are very important questions. And I won't, again, in a fig leaf of defense, as you call it, come to the most honorable Chief Minister of Goa defaming the Indian armed forces when they were fighting Pakistani terrorists by doing a press conference outside the Oberoi's. You were covering it, no, Navika ma'am. I won't come to that, and I won't say that the Chief Minister of Gujarat.
I have no problems in condemning anybody who raises questions about the Indian armed forces. So Tehseen Poonawalla, do not try to bait me, because I'm not a politician. I have no problems in condemning anybody who has done it, whether it is from the Congress or the BJP, it doesn't matter. But the fact is, when your party and when your idols and when your icons go abroad and talk about democracy, they forget that they won an election. Their party won an election just 2 months ago. And then they say democracy is dead.
May I please make my point? I never baited you. I know you will never get baited, and I never bait you. I said nobody from the opposition caused the then Chief Minister of Gujarat anti-national for speaking while our armed forces are fighting terrorists. He was doing a press conference. Nobody called him anti-national. And that's how democracy should be. We all stood, we understood his point of view was wrong, but we stood by him. He was our person only. Now he's the Prime Minister. And as
you are changing the goalpost, my friend. You are indulging in the only medicine you have, which is whataboutery. Which is whataboutery. You do not have a single legitimate reason to give on why Rahul Gandhi said what he did. So what you are doing, muddying the waters and doing whataboutery, Ishkaran Bhandari, does any Congress representative sitting here, whether it is Tehseen Poonawalla or Lokesh Jindal, who doesn't even know the difference between Bilkis Bano and Shah Bano, does any of them have any way of giving any logical reason of why Rahul Gandhi said what he has said, or why Manishankar Iyer said what he did?
No, but in this I think Mr. Jindal was right. He was probably referring to the rights of Shah Bano being assaulted. I don't want to use the word rape, because her rights were completely assaulted. Her right to maintenance was completely assaulted. So probably he was referring to the rights of Ms. Shah Bano being assaulted, but on foreign soil. So the interesting question is he trying to defend Rahul Gandhi, or is he raising question on the sense of Rahul Gandhi? That I hope the BRS spokesman does answer.
Well, Karthik Reddy, the ball is back in your court.
I don't know what is that you did not understand in this. I was very clear and said, no sensible person. And it is very apparent right now with where the Congress party is. Can you not speak on each other? My patch is a little tricky today. Can you speak one after the other?
Okay, all right. All right, the question being asked of you...
I cannot hear you guys.
Okay, guys, 1 minute. The question being asked of you, Mr. Karthik Reddy, is very simple. What Rahul Gandhi said, is it a betrayal of India or not? Yes or no? It's a simple question and a simple answer. Yes or no?
Let me answer that. Navika, let me answer that. You know what the Congress party's fortunes are, where it has been, where it has landed? This is exactly what Rahul Gandhi is doing. If Rahul Gandhi was competent enough for us to be discussing so much about him, Congress party would not be where it is. Yes or no? I hope you would get my answer from this.
No, I don't understand long answer. This is an objective question with a yes or no option.
It is not right. Anybody who wants foreign intervention in our country is not right. Well, he's taken a stand, Shehzad.
Now congratulate him. He's taken a stand. Congratulate him.
See, the reason why he's having reservations, because his own leader once upon a time had said that Rahul Gandhi said absolutely correct things on Pulwama, that it has happened in India and it is not a role of Pakistan. So therefore, how can one person who has betrayed Bharat stand against those who are betraying Bharat? So therefore, he can't say, yes, this is the ultimate betrayal of Bharat, just like Tehseen Poonawalla and Karthik Reddy are twin brothers. They are the twin brothers in the betrayal of Bharat.
You're being harsh. You're being harsh. Karthik Reddy had the guts to say that Rahul Gandhi is wrong, and he said that yes, it is a betrayal. Tehseen Poonawalla, would you want to say the same?
It is a strong word to use, but he was not right in using those words.
Okay. Tehseen, can you say that too? Rahul Gandhi was wrong.
Those who are today lecturing Sri Rahul Gandhi, I'm just going to take 30 seconds without interference, forget one thing. He comes from a family where his grandmother told the American president in clear language when he threatened over the 7th Fleet to send the 8th Fleet, where his father, who's a martyr for this country, made China lose the most number of soldiers in the pushback and declared Arunachal Pradesh state. The Prime Minister, the most honorable Prime Minister, who shivers and quivers to take China's name. Their party has no right to lecture Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I'll just take 10 seconds.
You know, Tehseen Poonawalla, while you say whatever about the great leaders of India, you took more than 30 seconds and I didn't interrupt you. Of course, you don't want my intervention because I'm an Indian, but you're not averse to America's intervention or UK's intervention. I got that, and I think the viewers got that too. But you can't say, my father did this, so don't ask me a question. Are I have to be answerable for my own sins. My father can't be, answerable for them, Lokesh Jindal. So maybe, Indira Gandhi was a very good leader for India in many ways, but there were some faults, and people of India, did the stock taking of that and made her answerable for it. Isn't it time for Mr. Rahul Gandhi to do the same?
Navika, let me complete. When the Bilkis Bano incident happened, the manner in which minorities' rights were being taken away, what was the NHRC doing? What was the Supreme Court of India doing?
My friend, when Shah Bano's case was completely trampled by changing the laws of the land, what was the NHRC doing then, my friend?
I deserve 30 seconds of so as to complete my.
But then answer both the questions. I'll give you 30. I'll give you 40 seconds. Answer both.
The point is, when a state becomes dictatorial and infringes upon human rights of its civilian, at that point of time, agencies like United Nations Human Rights Commission, they have to they have to inform that state that, okay, the rights of minorities are being taken away. At this point of time, Rahul Gandhi was absolutely right, because he is standing for those whose rights are being curbed upon by majoritarianism. Over here, when the government is targeting Rahul Gandhi, it knows where it is wrong. It has made the minorities collateral damage for its policy so as to grab political power. And at this point, Rahul Gandhi is absolutely right. In fact, let me tell you a prophecy. In history, Rahul Gandhi would be known as a leader who took on the mightiest, a very tyrannical form of opposition, and still will come out successful. He will be
well, we're waiting for his success, but
I am shocked that today United States will lecture us about minority rights, has in the history of United States for 200 years. One second now, please, Mr. Jindal.
Nobody interrupted you, Lokesh Jindal. Now don't interrupt. Responding to your charges is Shehzad Poonawalla.
United States, has it allowed any person other than Christian people to become its president? They take oath on not on the constitution but on the Bible, and forget Christian, even the non-Protestants, except for 2 presidents, can't become the president of United States. They are lecturing us, the country which has made Chief Justice, Election Commissioner, Chief Election Commissioner and President, Home Minister. All positions have been occupied by the topmost positions by the minorities, including Minority Prime Minister also. But I am asking another question. The Congress party is talking today. Hashimpura, Bhagalpur, Meerut, Maliana, Mumbai, Ahmedabad, Jalgaon, Delhi. और Delhi में ऐसा नरसंहार किया, and Sajjan Kumar was defended for 34 years. Prime Minister got up and said that बड़ा पेड़ गिरता है, धरती हिलती है. You allowed Jagdish Tytler to be the organizer of the Bharat Jodo Yatra. You are talking about minority rights. This is like Shaitan talking about Quran. So please, Lokesh Jindal, do not talk about minority rights. Congress has no right to talk about minority rights.
Well, there is place for politics in this country. There is place for asking questions. There is space for the opposition, and there is a parliament that is functioning. The question is, why do members of parliament, who are members of parliament, who enjoy the privileges of being members of parliament, who actually are financed by the taxpayers of this country, chosen by the voters of this country, when they go and badmouth the democracy of India, questions will be asked, because this is a country that has always sought accountability. And in a democracy, that's how democracies function. Accountability must be given. Whether a leader should make these statements and seek foreign intervention for protecting India's democracy is a call that Indians will take, and Indians are waiting and watching. Every move, not just of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, they're watching all politicians, all leaders, because जाना है तो ultimately जनता की अदालत में, और जनता है, public है, ये सब जानती है, because public is the boss. They will decide who's right and who's wrong. Thank you very much to all the panelists for joining me on debate number 1.